The Commonwealth of Kentucky was hit hard by flooding over the weekend, but unfortunately, this is an area that knows flooding all too well, as 45 people were killed in devastating floods less than 3 years ago, and now more deadly flooding, killing at least 14 people, leaving hundreds of flood survivors picking up the pieces once again. I'm joined this morning with Kate Clemens. Kate's a Hazard, Kentucky resident and native, also the founder and CEO of Roscoe's Daughter, a nonprofit that was born during the floods in 2022. As Kate began feeding people, flood survivors who lost everything, now she's an advocate for many across the region. So first of all, Kate, thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is great. I'm very excited to hear more from you this morning. I know your hometown, your neighbors, your friends, all heavily impacted. Can you really just set the scene of what it's been like over the last few days there?
Honestly, it's hard to articulate reliving your darkest night when the people and the land never recovered from the first time. So as you mentioned, 2.5 years ago, we experienced a catastrophic flood that was biblical. We had no warning, happened in the middle of the night, and claimed 45 lives. Even though we've had 2.5 years, we have not recovered at all. The progress has been slow, but we have been making it. But there are still significant issues that needed to be addressed before last week. So before the second flood hit, we still had people from the 2022 flood living in flood damaged homes from 2.5 years ago. We still had creeks that had never been dredged. We have roads that had never been repaired and culverts that had never been stabilized. So this already was a very serious, unsafe environment. So if you throw in a second catastrophic flood on top of that, it just completely cripples the area. It's hard to talk about, honestly, and people have now lost their homes twice, and I don't know what we're going to do. You were here when it first happened, so it's a lot of the same scenes. Like I said, we've been living in this hell for 2.5 years, but now it's just complete devastation on top of that. Creeks have been widened even further. There's mudslides this morning. We woke up, several inches of snow on the ground. I'm actually having to do this interview from home because I'm snowed in. I'm getting messages constantly from people stranded in their car begging me for help. It's just a lot.
Yeah, and Kate, talk to me too. As you mentioned, a lot of these areas that were hit by this flood it was a second time. I know also several businesses in your hometown of Hazard were impacted, and Roscoe's Daughter, your nonprofit, was really born from that first flood. So how have you all stepped up? What are you doing on the ground right now to help your community?
Yes, like you said, I've been warning about these major issues since the first flood because I knew we had to address it and remain at risk. So we've been on the ground working every day for 2.5 years because we never recovered. But when it happened again, we didn't know what to do the first time, but we know now because we've stayed in this mode. But it's just completely crippled the area, any progress that has been made. So Roscoe's Daughter, our mission is to meet the unmet need of all of Appalachia. So even though I'm physically in Perry County right now, we are doing intake and running the Perry County shelter. That is the place where all of the rescues are being brought. And we are trying to address the immediate critical needs while also helping stock the campers. And slowly, I believe today we're going to move 7 new families into the campers. When the first flood hit, Eastern Kentucky has always had a housing crisis before the first flood. So when the first flood hit, it just completely demolished that. And now that it's happened again, I'm very worried. I don't know. There are no apartments to try to find to put people in. Building homes takes time. Campers aren't the solutions. We can't even get our hands on enough. I don't know what we're going to do. But while I'm in Perry County, physically working at the shelter and those who come in meeting their needs and getting them stabilized in campers, I'm also helping people across Eastern Kentucky and Floyd County and other areas that were heavily hit try to find lodging. Like I said, I get messages constantly so many, even by the hour, just begging for help to get out of their car. They send me pictures just showing how stranded they are. And honestly, I just feel so helpless. And the snow today, it just really weighs on me. I really want to highlight that the first flood, we had an influx of help from outsiders. And this time we haven't had that. It's the all of it has really fallen on local government and local organizations like ours. And we just feel so alone, but it was so special. So, like I said, Roscoe's daughter tries to meet the needs of Appalachia. And when Hurricane Helene hit our neighboring states, I immediately jumped into action because, we had to learn what to do. We didn't know. Even the government didn't know because it was described as a 1,000-year flood, but we learned. And I really wanted to extend a hand to our neighboring states to not only be there for them, but to share what we learned and how to move forward. And it's just so special. 2 days ago, a group from Western North Carolina contacted me, and they were our first delivery to Perry County from an outside group, and they brought us 20 generators and several heaters and all kinds of supplies to make our homes. And, I just think it's so, in such a dark time, that really gives us light. It spreads a lot knowing that they're the group that's shown up to help us because they want to extend the hand back to us because we were there for them. And that gives us so much hope. And since then I've been contacted by others that we assist in Hurricane Helene. And I just truly think that's the spirit of Appalachia. We are resilient, but we show up for each other. And the takeaway from this is, in comparison, because I'm asked that a lot, how it compares, is that we had an influx of outside help from national organizations, nonprofits, from all over. This time there's been zero. And the fact that the only outside help we've had so far, the first on the scene, is from our neighbors that were affected from Hurricane Helene, and they are giving us the hope to hold on.
Yeah, Kate, amazing story there. I know there is still a lot of needs. You're doing a lot on the ground as this continues to unfold. I know we do expect an update from Governor Beshear here in just a little bit. But Kate, I'll make sure that I get some of those supplies, basic needs listed on our website, wvlt.tv. And Kate Clemens, thank you so much for talking to me this morning.
Thank you.